Today, we are so happy to have Wendy Lieu with us, co-founder of Chocolate. Chocolate in Vietnamese means chocolate, and she has some really nice Asian-inspiring flavors that she features in her shop. So some of the flavors that I really love is burnt caramel, sriracha, cognac, guava, beer. And her retail shop is on Folsom Street and on 1st and 2nd Street if you want to come and check it out. So Wendy,
thank you for being part of our virtual celebration. We're so excited
course.
to have you. And
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. To get us started, can you share how you became interested in chocolate?
Yeah, absolutely. So growing up, my sister and I would be at my parents' nail salon, and this was in Santa Rosa. We grew up basically there. It was like our daycare. It was across the street from the mall, and inside the mall was See's Candies. My sister and I found ourselves going there to eat the samples all the time. We loved it, but our parents didn't seem to like it, and our aunties and our grandparents didn't particularly like the flavors because they were too sweet. So I was very interested in, noticing what those flavors were. And I love to create things with my hands. And so I wanted to learn how you actually made chocolate, because here I am eating all these chocolates all the time. I was just kind of curious, how are they actually made? So I learned how to make it by reading some recipes in magazines and going to candy stores and doing research on like different supplies and things like that. Once I got to a place where I knew how to make chocolates, I said, hey, let's figure out how we incorporate some of these Asian American flavors so that our parents will enjoy these. And that's kind of where I came up with putting in, guava or Vietnamese coffee instead of, raspberry or mocha. And then then we started selling, we started selling in front of our parents' nail salon when we were 19 and 16 during the evening farmers markets once a week.
That sounds great, Wendy. And since you started your business, what do you see in terms of the trends of Asian Americans in purchasing chocolates? Just curious about what you think of Asian American in terms of switching from, as you mentioned, chocolate is very sweet to a lighter sweet. So do you see any trends in that?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of trends, and especially like in Eastern flavors in all kinds of food across the board, food and beverage. I'm seeing a lot of people being more interested in like, hey, what flavors, are close to home to me, and what flavors can I see in the chocolate industry that I haven't seen before. So, for example, we made like a mooncake chocolate, and, it was just experimentation and fun for me. But we got so much interest in it. We made a lotus seed paste and then put in salted egg yolk. And so this is something that's traditional for the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival, is mooncake. So I made a chocolate type of mooncake. And you're also seeing, the Asian American population growing really rapidly. And I think it's something like by 2023, it's like $1.3 trillion in like spending power, right? And people are always looking for luxury goods and fine goods. And so just having chocolates and things that are less sweet, that are more adapted to the Asian American palate, I feel like is kind of where the trend is going.
Great. Wendy, can you share with us what are the most popular flavors at your store? And you mentioned some of the seasonal ones, like the mooncake bar. Are there any other seasonal ones that you do? I believe I saw a durian flavor that came out recently.
Yeah, so we actually offer a durian chocolate kind of on a once-a-month basis. We make it fresh because we don't want it to be sitting for a long time. But we make that once a month. We have an email list specific for that flavor. So you can add yourself to that list. And then when we make it, we send out an email blast about it so you can order it. Some of our other popular flavors are definitely like guava, passion fruit, our tea line, which includes jasmine, sriracha, which is definitely like a polarizing flavor. You either like love it or hate it. And so I still continue to make it, even though some people are like, you should stop making that. It's gross. I'm like,
Won't
I
stop.
kind of in that bucket. Yeah. But hey, your sriracha earrings, Angela. But you know, there's some people who love it. So, you know, I don't expect everyone to love every flavor. And so especially like durian, I don't expect everyone to love every flavor. So there's something for everyone.
That sounds great, Wendy. As May is APA Heritage Month, for young Asian Americans entering into the profession like pastry, what kind of advice would you give them?
You know, I taught myself how to make chocolate, and I think that, you know, for a while I was like, I need to go get trained in France, and I need to go get all this professional schooling. I think, you know, it's not accessible for everyone. You know, just being able to take that time off to learn in that way, or financially. So I think the best thing to do is, you know, to do as much research as you can, possibly get an internship, try to work in that field a little bit, and then get the principles of whatever, and the foundation for whatever industry you want to go into. And then once you do that, you know, and you learn there, and maybe take some one-off classes here and there. Once you get the foundations and principles down, then you can take it, own it, and then add your, you know, your flair, your, you know, your flavors and things that you want to do to the chocolates, or I'm sorry, to whatever industry you're in.
That's some great advice, Wendy. Thanks. And to close up our time together, just curious, what is your favorite truffle flavor? And can you also let everyone know where people can buy your truffles and sign up for your email list?
Sure. You know, my favorite absolute flavor that we make is jasmine tea. And the reason for that is because, you know, when I was growing up, my grandparents actually came from Vietnam to the U.S. and they grew up with us. I mean, we grew up with them. They lived with us. There was 13 of us in a 4-bedroom house. But, you know, I got to be very close to my maternal grandmother. And one of the things her ritual was every day was to have jasmine tea. And she would have a pot of tea sitting all the time, like brewed all day long, and that she would pour a little bit over ice. And so that smell, that floral aroma, you know, of the tea is just so amazing. It reminds me of my grandmother. And we make a chocolate with jasmine pearl tea, which we steep in cream, and then we put it into a 72% dark chocolate. The floral notes in it is just amazing, and it just kind of flows through the chocolate experience. And for me, that's definitely my favorite flavor. And in terms of finding my chocolates, you know, we've had to pivot a lot to, you know, selling online, doing some curbside pickup, and you can do in-store pickup now. Our store is at 535 Folsom Street in Soma, not too far from Salesforce Tower. It's between 1st and 2nd Street. We do serve coffee there. We make all of our chocolates in-house, and so when we are open, you can come in and you can see us making the chocolates, and you can sample chocolates and buy chocolates. So, you know, we hoping to be fully open again soon, but for now, you know, you can always order and ship anywhere in the U.S. As long as it's not too hot. That's the caveat.
Yes. And everyone, you can find Wendy's chocolates at SocolaChocolates.com. And Chau, I believe you wanted to wrap us up today.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy, so much for joining us today, and happy APA Heritage Month. And thank you for your times. And let's toast to APA Month together. Virtual toast.
Yes, virtual toast. Happy APA Heritage Month. Cheers. Thank you, Wendy, again for joining us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.